Hi everyone, welcome to my next review, which is Zyon Grand. I initially wanted to do a shorter review, but with the level of detail and how comprehensive I've been doing this video, right, this framework, this review, using the prep framework, right? There's no way I can reduce it. I actually tried. I tried my best. I went faster instead of talking, but I think in terms of the absolute amount of content that I need to cover is really this long. Now, if there are particular parts of the content that you feel that it's not as interesting, you think that it's not something that needs to be mentioned in the prep framework review, then it's fine. We can remove it from the video. Just let me know in comments. Yeah, I'll remove it in the video. Then, but I'll definitely still factor it in terms of like the framework itself, the points, the scoring at the end. Okay. Now, without further ado, let's look at Zyon Grand. I actually very invested in this video because like I mentioned earlier, I'm deciding between Penrith and Zyon Grand for my own purchase, homestay, not flipping. Okay, let's start. Okay, so this is like a refresher on this prep framework that I'll be using to review all my projects. If you've already seen this in my previous video for Penrith, then you can see the next section. But for this, right, today I'm just going to go very quickly through these four main quadrants. So first off is project details. Project details is very simple. Just think of it as everything that's internal within the project and bounded by the project fence and borders. So it's like things like your floor plan, your facilities, your views, your afternoon sun, your developer track record size, etc. And obviously the furnishing and fittings as well. Now, radius is external. It's about what's in the radius around the project. So your amenities, education, transport, nodes, whether there's like a lot of noise, road exposure, shelter coverage, how's it looking like, things like that. And then you have your exit strategy, the third one, E. So exit strategy should be fairly straightforward, right? Sure, this term has been like used a lot in terms of like property reviews, content, etc. So effectively for the exit strategy, we need a good upgrader pool. We need like supply demand, whether there's good supply demand. You need resale transaction velocity, and you also need like future transformation. Okay. Now, P, the last one, P, price. So price obviously is the most important factor. Your entry price, as well as your low entry price, and you have the project have like one or two good things about it in terms of like either the radius or the project details, right, or the exit strategy. You're pretty much guaranteed to get profit. It's just how much profit. So the lower the entry price, the better. And in terms of like price, there's also other factors like the upgraded price support. You know, if whether you're not in a $1 million HDB area, because if you are, then you know that those HDB upgraders will have the capital to be able to purchase your project at a higher price. That's your upgraded price support. And then you have your nearby resale performance. Alternatively, you can also look at like the price gap versus the surrounding resale projects. So that's also another indicator in terms of like resale. So either proven resale performance or price gap. Yeah. Price gap usually applies. I think price gap I will be using it when the entry price is a lot lower than the surrounding, which actually for Zion Grand is the case. I'll show you guys later the comparison. Now, other than that, there's also like comparable new launches as well as future GLS. So this is the prep framework in a nutshell. I purposely limit prep so that it's like a short form of word preparation. You know, do the proper preparation before you make your next purchase. A smart choice for purchase, especially if you approach me. Okay. Right. So, okay, let's not do the advertisement now. You know, we do the advertisement when maybe we finish the project details, for example. Yeah, this is just like a quick recap of the framework. Okay, so first up, the project details. So this is going to be a quick one, a quick glance. So firstly, developer, we have our CDL and Mitsui Fudosan. Both are very renowned developers. Mitsui is more in Japan, that's renowned, but they have done some projects in Singapore as well. Now, in terms of the number of units, you have 706 units. So, oh, right. So the the developer track record is good. Okay, the two renowned developers with very good track record. So that you do not need to worry about. And Zyon actually has a Chinese name, okay? Because I don't read one of the words. So I'm not going to read it first. Okay, number of residential units 706. District is D3, not D9. But it's actually right at the edge of D9, just like Promenade Peak. Because they are like the same same big plot of land cut into two projects that is right outside of D9. Okay, this whole 99 years, TOP is second quarter 2030. Okay, so this is not a committed date, and the reason why it's so long is also because I believe it's because of the fact that they need to integrate the project with the Havelock MRT station, the asset that's already there. And on top of that, it's also 60 plus 4, so the foundation has to take longer. Yeah. And unit mix wise, we actually have a very good unit mix here. You have one bedroom plus study to five bedroom supreme units, but the majority is still the three bedroom. So that's nice. Now, in terms of car park lots, I think it's about 85%, 595 lots or versus 706 residential units. And the maintenance fee does include the car park, but obviously subject to availability because you have 85%. Yeah. And there's actually 30 commercial lots. Okay. There's 30 commercial lots here. Because Zyon Grand is an integrated development, you have a level one commercial. Okay, now there's two blocks of 62 story and one block of 36-story long stay service apartment. So the long stay service apartment is like a new concept, SA2. In fact, this project is the very first one to have SA2, which is basically minimum 3 months stay rather than minimum 7 days. But basically, service apartment is sort of like a accommodation that companies use for their expat, and after the service apartment period is over, the expats then have to go find their own accommodation or lodging. So this actually creates a situation where I think SA2 will help boost the rental profits of Zion Grand because they already stay in Zion Grand for 3 months. If they like it, they're gonna want to look for Zion Grand again. And this time around, it will be the renting the residential units rather than service apartments. So yeah, I think it has a very positive effect. In fact, I was worried that it will have a negative impact on the rental yield. But after looking at other service apartments, right, I realized that they actually create a price lift for the renters. So that's good. And architects are all are renowned architects who have done nice projects as well. Okay, so let's move on. This is the B1 slash lower first site plan. Most of the time, the site plan that you will see is the upper first. But I wanted to show this B1 because this is where your car entry will be. So whether you're taking PHV or you're driving yourself, this is how you're going to be going. And also the Havelock MRT as well. When you walk out of the Havelock MRT, this is actually the first area. So first off, let's talk about the red arrow. The red arrow here is how you turn into Zion Grand. Only this entry, which is the Kinsale Road. So from Kinsale Road, you turn in here. There's actually three directions you can go. You can turn right, which is the orange arrow, towards the B2 and B3 residential car park. Or you can go straight, which is the blue arrow, and that will bring you to the residential arrival court. Number three here, number four here, you have to obviously have to go through the guardhouse first. Number three here, then go to number four. And then the next will be the turn left, the green arrow, to go to the service apartment slash commercial area pickup slash drop off. Okay. So like if you're somebody expert who's staying in this service apartment, right? Because this restaurant, what you see here is restaurant, but right above this block are all the service apartment units. So this is the pickup drop off. And you'll see that the Havelock MRT is actually over here as part of like the true link. The Havelock MRT is between the ECDC as well as the supermarket slash commercial. More interestingly, right, is actually for the arrival court. If you go further down, that's where you for this area around block 3, right? That's where you have your commercial lots, the 30 commercial lots mentioned in the project details. I'm not sure whether or not there will be other residential lots here because for some reason they put residential car park entry here as well. But as far as I know, yes, these are other commercial lots, and these commercial lots obviously serve the different public folks who are going to the supermarket or the restaurants here. Okay, now I just want to quickly talk about the arrival court as well as the arrival sanctuary that it links to. It's really, really nice. It's really, really beautiful. It's worlds apart from the previous project, Penrith. And remember, I was talking about how disappointed I was about Henry's arrival card. Huge difference to Zyon Grand. And I'll show you guys now. And there you go. This is how the arrival card looks like. Of course, it's an artist impression, so it will look better than the actual thing, but the actual thing should not be too far off. So you see, once you clear the guardhouse, you reach this drop-off point here, this roundabout here. It has, like I say, a water feature. You expect a nice arrival card to have a water feature, and they do give it to you here. And there's also a light directly coming down from the top, which is really nice. And if you look at that white spiral staircase over there in the middle, that's how you go up to your arrival sanctuary, the Grand Pavilion. And this is how the Grand Pavilion looks like. It looks even better than the arrival card. So it's like, imagine you're taking the PhD home, you drop off, you see this arrival card, you feel better already, right? And you go up, and then you see the Grand Pavilion. Nice, well done, well done. Yeah, it really improves your mood, man. I think it really improves the whole feeling of going home. I like this. Okay. Now, this is what I call a rival card. Okay, not that disappointing one over at Penrith. Like, Asia shouldn't be that bad. Come on, I'm not expecting like a super grand one for Asia, but some basic stuff should be there. I mean, this is obviously really good for Asia because it's technically speaking already one step away, one small little fringe away from CCR. So that's why they give you something here that's so impressive. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so this is the upper first. As you can see, the arrival entry that I just showed earlier is over here. The Grand Pavilion is number one, and number two, you have a reflective court. I mean, all of it is like part of the arrival feeling. Okay, then the obvious one, the green field here, is obviously the tennis ball slash pickleball court, and right beside is the different clubhouses. You have Club Social, I think Club Gourmet, and Central Club, etc. There's also a club culinary that's right underneath Block 3. And for Block 5, right underneath Block 5, you have like the yoga, the game studio, and a media room. Yeah. Then in terms of the swimming pool, or not pools, both blocks will have pools that are near to them. So for the block 3, you have your kids pool, your family pool, the relaxation deck, hydro splash, etc. For block 5, you have your lap pool. And within the lap pool itself, you do have your other features like the pool deck and a pavilion per se, aqua pavilion. Okay, yeah. And right in the middle, number 24 here is a barbecue pit. I think 23 might have barbecue, so I'm not sure. But 24, yes, is the barbecue pit. And number 33 here is the gym. Okay. Yeah, so gym is actually very near to block 5. Okay, so very decent number of facilities here. And oh, right, and there's also a kids' playground at the back. Let me double check. Yes, there's a kids' playground at the back of block 3 here, over here, right in front of step 5 and step 6. Okay. So one thing I want to call out also is that for Zyon Grand, the level 2, which is your first block, is basically about like level 7, level 8 HDB. Yeah, so it's already very elevated. That's why you have your lower first and upper first, right? So lower first is your first floor, supermarket, commercial, etc. Then upper first is your landscaping or your different facilities. And you go on further high, that's your level 2 unit. And so on and so forth. In fact, there's Sky Terrace as well. So I'm going to quickly talk about Sky Terrace. But Sky Terrace, they don't really have facilities per se. I mean, they do craft out different spaces and provide chairs, etc. But there's like no barbecue pit. Okay, let's move on. So there's 2 Sky Terraces per block. Level 22 is Horizon Vista. Level 43 is the Altitude Lounge. So for both Block 3 and Block 5. So effectively, you have like some outdoor fitness, you have like meditation deck, you have an area to sit down and relax. Oh, there's chess garden as well, and a harvest garden as well. I don't know why that's popular, but I don't know. I'm not sure how it works out. Like how you allocate your different plots of gardening, right? I'm not sure how that goes. Okay, and yeah. So on the whole, oh, there's also a swing at level 43. That's definitely you swing and look at the level 43 view. I think it would be very nice. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So very straightforward for the two sky terraces. Right. Next, I want to talk about views. So for views, right? Just from this, it's not that obvious, but the south facing is a lot more unblocked than the north facing because north facing you have promenade peak. In fact, the stack, I think it's 3 and 4, they will be very blocked by promenade peak. Now, in terms of the surrounding, right, most of the buildings are about 33 to 30 to 36 levels, I would say. The condos, especially on the condos that the block 5 are facing, the north facing of block 5 at least, the north east facing. And there is some gap in between each of these condos, these older condos. So I think the view for the northeast facing stack for Block 5 is not that bad, which is why it's actually reflected in the price as well, for the starting from price. If you look at the starting from price, right, the north facing of Block 3 is worse, because of property peak, the lowest price. The northeast facing of Block 5, your 9, 10, 11, 12, they get a better view, so slightly better view, so slight increase in the PSF as well. While the south facing, right, where you get your best view per se, is the highest in terms of the starting from. It's about 100 premium over 100 PSF premium over the stat 3 to 6. Yeah, and the stat 1 and 2, I would say do have the best view, along with stat 8 too, because they really do have like a broad south view, and if you go high enough you can actually start to see the scenes and those are. Now for stat 9 to 12, if you go higher, yes, you actually can see MBS as well, but you probably need like 40 plus level. So if you don't want to break the bank, right, you just buy a lower level, then go to the sky terrace, level 43. Level 43, enjoy the fireworks when it's National Day. So yeah, no issues. Easily settled. Now, in terms of the view, you will see for south is definitely good, which is why there's a premium. Of course, the only complaint maybe for south, like you might see more HDBs, especially to the west, the southwest. But yeah, I think it's alright. There is also Orchard View actually for like step 5 and 6, although it's like partially blocked. Okay, let's move on to talk about afternoon sun. There you go. The red arrows are the direction that the afternoon sun will come in. So if you look at it, right, stat 3, stat 9, not really affected because of where their balcony is facing, right? North and northeast. Now, the stats 2, 8, and 7 are affected. But 2, the sun is very indirect. It's almost like the situation for Penrith. Yeah, because because of the orientation of the site, right, and as well as the block for block 3 and block 5, you can tell that block 3 is a bit tilted. So this in return gives it a effect where the sun, the afternoon sun, is very indirect for block 2 or step 2. Likewise for step 1. Yeah. Now in terms of step 8 and 7, they do get a bit more direct sun, but it's still indirect, right? It's still indirect, still not so bad, still manageable. Okay. So where we're at now in terms of like doing the project details review for the prep framework is at the unit mix, floor plans, and unit lift ratio. So I'll talk about unit mix and unit lift ratio now. So for unit mix, right, I think we have very nice healthy mix here because the 4 bedroom onwards is 70%. The 1 to 3 is 83%, but the 3 bedroom actually takes up the most. 3 bedroom is 41.7%, while the 1 plus 2 is 41.7%. So that will tell you that in terms of like homestay focus, it's a whopping 58%. Yeah, I shouldn't say whopping, but 58%. Definitely is for homestay, not for investor. Yet they still provide a decent amount of investor, which is like 41.7%. So yeah, I like this type of unit mix. Now on to the unit lift ratio. So for Zyon Grand, right, because they have 6 units to 4 lifts, it looks really good, right? And on top of that, one of the unit per block has the private lift. So it's like 5 to 4. But it can't be that good, right? Because Zion Grand is very, very high rise. So there's a lot more units. So it's like 5 times 59 units per block plus 4. Why 4? 4 because at level 62, two of the units are combined together to give you a penthouse. And that's your step 1 and step 2. Likewise for step 8 and step 7. They actually combine together at the penthouse level, level 62. So that gives you -1. So all in all, basically your total number of units to the lift ratio is 75 per block for Zion Grand. For Penrith, if I apply the similar math to it is, it's actually 78. Okay. So although like the unit lift ratio 6 to 4 looks so good, right? Or even 5 to 4, and Penrith is like 6 to 3. In terms of actual total number of units, right? In the end, it works out to be almost the same with Zion Grand being slightly better, 75, and for a point of reference, my current place is 77. So I was doing this and I was also curious about my own place. So yeah, I did the math and mine is about 77. So very close to Penrith, being the same area, and then for Zion Grand, it's slightly better, 75, more or less the same. So decent ratio. Now, let's move on. Floor plan review. Obviously, we'll start with the smaller layouts first. So here you have the 1+ study versus the 2 bedroom, the 2 bed, 1 bath in Zion Grand. So to me, these two are really very investment units per se, not really homestay. Although you can also say they are rental for the aspects from the long stay as service apartment. There may be some spillover, so this can be considered for smaller families anyway and single aspects, not those that like the whole family. Those will be the bigger rooms. Now for the 1+ study, I actually like that they managed to make the study more enclosed. It can be an enclosable space, so that's nice. And in terms of the overall layout, I'll say it's quite okay for a 1 bedroom. I mean, you can't expect like 1 bedroom to have windows as well as like enclosed kitchen, etc. Right? So this is like standard fare for a 1 bed plus study. Now the 2 bedroom, you notice that actually the actual living space, the kitchen plus the living room space is actually smaller than the 1+ study, but it's wider, so it feels slightly better. At least this portion here is wider. 2250 versus 1900. Those are the measurement at the bottom. But in return, you get an extra bedroom and a bigger master bathroom. But basically, the extra bedroom over the study. Think of it this way: extra bedroom over a study. So it depends on how big of a room you need for your workspace for investment wise, and how much you think other people need if you're renting out. Okay. All right. I don't really have much to talk about for 1+ study and 2 bed, 1 bath. Really for lower quantum. So next is the 2 bedroom premium versus the 2 bedroom premium plus study. So for small families, right, I think these are actually quite livable, other than the fact that the kitchen is not like enclosable kitchen, but these days it's really, really hard to get enclosable kitchens for 2 bedroom. In fact, even natural ventilation is very, very rare. As you can see here, for both layouts, we don't have natural ventilation for the bathrooms, and kitchens are all open. So I guess it's because like a 1 bedroom starts to get trend out, 2 bedroom starts to become the sacrificial lamb in their project layout, because there are units that have to be in the middle of the building, so they can't give you ventilation because of that. You understand? It used to be the 1 bedrooms that get that. As 1 bedrooms get phased out because of like the overall demand, right? People want to work from home. So 2 bedrooms are the one who do get this effect now. Okay, but in terms of the difference between these two layouts, there's 7 square meter difference. It mainly comes from the living room. Your living plus kitchen is 15 plus 13 here, 28, which is 3 square meter bigger than the 14 plus 11 over on the 2 bedroom premium. Okay, so 3 square meter difference. The odd thing though is that the master bedroom in 2 bedroom premium is actually bigger than the study. The 2+ study has a 11 square meter master bedroom,
The two premium has 12. So it's like one minus one instead for over here. And then the biggest difference is obviously this nice big study here. 5 square meter study. 5 square meter study is more than enough for you to convert it to a room for helper, for example, because it's also an enclosable space. The only thing is that the kitchen is open. Yeah. And also, again, no natural ventilation. I guess you have to open the door when you cook. That's the best way, I guess. Yeah, a door and the balcony. Yeah. So in terms of the rest of the layout sizes, is all more or less the same. Your bedroom is 9 square meter, master bath is 5, bath is 4, second bath is 4. So I would say that between these two layouts, I personally really like the show unit layout, which is the 2 premium plus study, because of this 5 square meter study. If you go to show unit, you'll see the study room is very nice in terms of the space, not like the decor or whatever. I mean, obviously that's ID treatment, right? But yeah, I do like this 5 square meter studies here. It's very functional, and that's why they are confident of it, and they even sell 2 steps versus the 1 step here. Okay. All right. Moving on to 3 bedroom.
Okay, it's time for a little interlude. Please remember to contact me at this number so that I can help you with your next smart choice home purchase. Yeah, especially if you find my analysis and my insights, the way I'm doing my review, etc., is helpful to you, especially in terms of all the different projects. Please let me help you further with your actual purchase. All right. And oh, right, please like and subscribe as well. It will help a lot in giving me motivation to do more and more of this. All right. Okay.
Okay,
And
3 bedroom is more interesting, right? Because more people, I think there's a bigger demand for 3 bedroom. Although for River Valley area, maybe 4 or 5 has a much bigger demand. But it's okay. Let's talk about 3 bedroom. Typically, 3 bedroom has the most demand. So for the 3 bedroom compared for Zyon Grand, unfortunately, I have to say it does not measure up to Penrith. Penrith's 786 layout is really good because you have natural ventilation everywhere. And it's very efficient use of space. But for Zyon Grand, and closable kitchen as well. But for Zyon Grand's compact 3 bedroom, right, it's a bit unfortunate because they don't have natural ventilation for the bath too. They do have for the master bathroom, but not the bathroom too. And the kitchen is also not enclosable. The moment you see this layout, you don't even need to think about whether there's ventilation for kitchen. Yeah. Okay, so anyway, for the 3 bedroom deluxe, that's the one that has natural ventilation. That's like the smaller size that you can buy in Zion Grand that has natural ventilation. Windows in the kitchen, windows in the bathroom, both bathrooms. Yeah. Now the just a difference, right? At a first glance, might not be very obvious, but it's actually the living plus kitchen. Because living here, you have 28 square meter, kitchen is 6, right? So add together is 34. For the 3 bedroom compared, or just the 3 bedroom, the A1 square feet is 18 plus 11, 29. So there's already like a 5 square meter space difference here. And it mainly comes really from the living dining. So it's a lot more livable compared to the compact. Balcony size, everything else is the same. The only difference is really the bedroom. Surprisingly, the compact bedroom, there's a one of the bedroom three actually has 10 square meter versus 9. This might be the only 10 square meter common bedroom in this entire project, by the way. Because everything else is all 9 square meter. It's all 9 square meter, very standard, just like Penrith, everything 8 square meter. This one, everything 9 square meter. Which obviously is better, 9 square meter, a lot more livable, right? 8 square meter, like I said, is like bare minimum for you to put a queen size bed and still have space to take your clothes, but that's it. But 9 square meter makes it a lot more comfortable. Yeah. And obviously 10 square meter. But without all the natural ventilation, if your quantum can afford it, definitely go for the one with natural ventilation. In fact, I think this might be the layout. It's either this layout or the 1076 that I will go for. It will really depend on the day, the actual launch day prices. If I go for Zyon Grand, it will be these two layout. If I go for Penrith, then it will be, likewise, it will be the 786 versus the 936. I don't like Penrith's 1066 for me personally. So, because of that walking wardrobe thing. This swing door block each other, then your wife is going to scold you when the two of you are trying to go to work at the same time. Okay, so anyway, that's the Zion Grand 3 bedroom versus the 3 bedroom deluxe. And again, like I said, the 3 bedroom deluxe is the one with the two steps. Because I think they expect this to be more popular as well, being the smallest 3 bedroom that has all natural ventilation. And in terms of like utilization of space, right, it's more or less all efficient as well. Other than like maybe the foyer you enter, there's a bit of wasted space, but you can just easily put your shoe cabinet etc. here. So yeah, not too bad. Okay, let's go on to talk about 3 bedroom premium layouts. So the 3 bedroom premium plus study layouts are very similar. There's only a 2 square meter difference, and it's basically in the living area. So 35 here versus 33. The rest of it, everything is the same. And I do like the 3 bedroom layouts because they give you almost like a landscape kind of view. You realize, at least the interior is definitely like landscape. So it's very wide, very nice, almost like a 4 bedroom type of structure in some other projects. Only thing is that there's actually a wall here. They actually give you a swing door here because they position this as a study, but they did not build any walls. So you are free to use this space however you like. But there is a swing door here instead of like a full sliding door balcony. But you still have sliding door over here. Your balcony is still 10 square meter, like a 4 bedroom landscape. So pretty good. I actually like this layout. I mean, to be able to have like a landscape view, almost landscape view for 3 bedroom premium is really nice. Just compared to the Penrith, yeah. Although Penrith, what they do is they give you a very big master bedroom, right? But the master bedroom here isn't bad as well. It's 15 square meter versus the 14 plus 3 square meter of a walk-in wardrobe over on Penrith. Okay, yeah. And in terms of like, okay, maybe I just do a quick one. The 861, right, versus the 1076. The key difference, obviously, the living room takes up a bit part of it, as well as the balcony, and kitchen is slightly bigger, 7 versus 6. There's also a 1 square meter WC, a 4 square meter home shelter, and the master bathroom is slightly bigger as well, 6 versus 5, and master bedroom is 15 versus 3. Yeah. So these are all the changes that you get, the extra 20 square meter that you get when you go from 861 to 1076. Obviously, the quantum increases a lot more. But step 2 here, the 1076 step 2 actually has the best view in my opinion for the entire project because it's south facing. I mean, usually north facing would be better, but north facing you have more or less it's all partially blocked views. Whereas for step 2, at least if you go higher, right, it's unblocked. And you only need to go like 20 plus stories to be unblocked. But still, the premium is there, right? The premium for the floor is there for the floors. Now, step 7, however, is the one that's not ideal because step 7 is the one that is partially blocked by your views are partially blocked by the service apartment, and you are very near to the service apartments. Yeah, so not as ideal. Okay, let's on to the 4 bedrooms now. 4 bedroom premium and supreme, they all have private lifts already. Okay, you have step 1 and step 8. In fact, this is only up to level 42. When it's for these two steps, when it's 43 to 62, oh, sorry, 44 to 62 because 43 is Terrace. So 44 to 62, right, is actually a different type of layout, a bigger layout. And what I like about this, right, about Zyon Grand, right, is that they pretty much expanded the layout without sacrificing all the bottom, all the different layouts at the bottom. Because that's what happened for Promenade Peak. They made their 4 and 5 bedroom that is like at level 44, 43 and above really, really good. But it was at the expense of all the different units below, which is why Promenade Peak at launch day only achieved 54% sale. In fact, they sold out all their 4 and 5 bedroom that were higher level. They fully sold out their premium design, the 43 or 44 to 63. The ones that they did not manage to sell are the ones that they sacrificed, the bad layouts. And when you have so many condo projects here, buying a bad layout is very, very damaging. And I think when I did my previous Penrith video, I think Queen's Peak is the one that is the very good example of this, what I just said, where the bad layout in an area you will be losing out to all the other projects. So don't buy those bad layouts. Yeah. So for the Zion Grand, I am actually expecting launch day for the 4 and 5 bedroom to be sold out before the 3 bedrooms. Seriously, because this is how this area works. This is an area that's almost like CCR. Okay, so let's just quickly talk about the 4 bedroom premium versus 4 bedroom supreme. So landscape, and this is proper full landscape, full sliding doors. Bigger, much bigger living area because you have your dry kitchen, wet kitchen, you have your private lift, you have more bathrooms, you have your utility yard, and 2 square meter WC, a bit more acceptable versus 1 square meter. Okay, and the kitchen is huge as well, right? So all in all, obviously 4 bedroom is huge because the size is big as well. But if I'm going to talk about the difference between Supreme and Premium, basically it's very straightforward. The master bedroom Supreme is 3 square meter bigger. You have 22 square meter versus 19, and they even have the space to put a table here. Okay, and master bathroom, you have 9 square meter over on the 4 bedroom Supreme. You have your his and her sink. There's two sinks, bathtub, versus the 4 bedroom premium master bath, which is the normal master bath, the 6 square meter, same as the 3 bedroom premium. That's the difference. Yeah? You have bathtub and you have his and her sink already in the 4 bedroom Supreme onwards. And the kitchen overall is also 3 square meter bigger. If I take all the different things that are here, right, for kitchen, your kitchen, your dry kitchen, your WC, your utility, etc., everything added together, 3 square meter more. The 4 bedroom Supreme. Now, ironically, the living room is actually slightly smaller. The living room on the 4 bedroom Supreme is 1 square meter smaller than the 4 bedroom Premium. Okay. Then the next would be the junior master bathroom. Master bedroom, sorry. Junior master bedroom is also 1 square meter smaller. By junior master's bedroom, it's this one over here. So 12 versus 11. Oh, sorry. I meant one square meters bigger. Sorry. The one that's smaller is just a living room. Everything else is bigger for the 4 bedroom supreme, as it should be. Okay. Yeah. So yes, that's it. Let's move on to the next one. So now we have our premium, truly premium layouts because it's 4 bedroom supreme plus study versus 5 bedroom supreme, private lift, and it starts from level 44. I say it's true premium. And if you look at the design, right, look at the 5 bedroom. It actually links the balcony between one of the bedroom and the landscape living room. Nice. And other than that, let's see what else. Obviously, you have more bathrooms for 5 bedroom versus 4 bedroom. So maybe let's just talk about difference now directly. So master bedroom, 34 square meter versus 22 square meter. Both of them are big enough to put your vanity table. Okay, 2 square meter difference. Living room 35 versus 34. Balcony 18 versus 12, 6. And then you have another 4 square meter from additional one bathroom. You have 9 square meter from one additional bedroom. And you actually have -3. -3 from a study. Yeah, there's a study because 4 bedroom Supreme have plus study, right? Versus 5 bedroom Supreme. So you less one study, but you get one whole big bedroom, and as well as the other bigger areas that I talk about. So yeah, obviously, it's much bigger because you have 169 versus 150 square meter, and we are talking about step 1 versus step 8. So, like I said, step 8, slight detriment is that the afternoon sun is a little more direct. Although it's still indirect, but it's a little more direct than, say, the step 1. Okay. But for my video, right, I'm not going to talk about the two penthouse layouts. That one is a bit too niche. But if you're really interested in the penthouse layout, feel free to come and talk to me. I will show you the penthouse layout. It basically, what the penthouse layout does, right, is that it takes the 3 bedroom premium to combine together with the 4 bedroom premium or 5 bedroom premium or 5 bedroom supreme, whatever the case is. So step 1 versus step 1 plus step 2 at level 62 is your penthouse. Step 8 plus 7, step 8 plus step 7 at level 62 is your other penthouse. So that's your 2 penthouses. Okay, let's move on and talk about furnishings and fittings. Okay, we are reaching the end of the project details review. Furnishings and fittings. This is a huge difference from Penrith. Okay, Penrith is so disappointing. This you have Visual, you have Leper, you have Data Church, or premium, true premium luxury brands. Unscroll Jewelry, and you have Kakaro for the wardrobe. Very, very nice wardrobe. If you go to the showroom, try pulling the doors, right? It gives you a very nice view the moment you open the two doors. And it doesn't take up a lot of space like the normal swing door. So I like the design. And then you have Cotton here or Cotan, where you have like the integrated magnetic accessories wall system. They provide this in the kitchen as well as the toilet. Yeah. So you basically once you have the magnetic tray, right, you can easily fit them wherever you want, and they put all your different accessories like be your toothbrush or your utensils, etc. Be it this kitchen or bathroom. So yes, this one gets like full points from me for this section, as opposed to Penrith. Penrith disappointed me so much, man. If the developer had chosen to give, I mean, I'm not asking for this level of like fittings, right? But at least you know maybe half of them, or maybe like at least you try to give to the bigger rooms, right? At least it shows that you're not cutting corners. But I guess they think that they are confident that Penrith can sell, so that's why they give you a bit more mass market furnishing and fittings, I would say. Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about maintenance costs. This is the one thing that I don't like about Zion Grand. One of the key things actually. Okay, so in return for atas finishings and atas very nice facilities, your arrival cost, etc., you get a higher maintenance cost. Yeah, that's not ideal. It's a little expensive. But at least they I'll give them credit for separating the one bedroom study plus two bedroom into a lower category rather than all being the same all the way until three bedroom. So, but if you're buying three bedroom, it's going to be 536. If you're going buying the bigger two bedrooms, it's also 536. So 536, honestly speaking, is a tad high. Like most new launches now, it's like 420 to 464. Yeah, and there are some that's like 390. So 536, yeah, it's a little expensive. And initially, it was rumored, the word on the ground was that 536 doesn't include car park charges. If that was the case, right, I would have immediately removed Zion Grand from my list of to consider to purchase. Seriously. Because if you include car park charge, then what's your monthly maintenance fee going to be like? 700, 800? Way too much. Okay, so now they have confirmed that it includes the car park charges, the car park lots, but obviously subject to the availability because your car park lots is 85%. But honestly, I think it should be sufficient. Okay, now let's move on. That concludes the project details. We can talk about mathematics, but I'm going to go fast for those other sections.
Okay, it's time for a little interlude. Please remember to contact me at this number so that I can help you with your next smart choice home purchase. Yeah, especially if you find my analysis and my insights, the way I'm doing my review, etc., is helpful to you, especially in terms of all the different projects. Please let me help you further with your actual purchase. All right, and oh right, please like and subscribe as well. It will help a lot in giving me motivation to do more and more of this. All right. Okay.
Finally, we finished the project details. Now is the radius. Radius I'm going to go very fast. But I will still add in a little bit of my insights, right? Because I'm actually very familiar with the Zyon Grand area. Because my kid's favorite restaurant is there, Chinese restaurant is there. I go there to get groceries for him as well. My wife wants like the fresh, really fresh and nice ones for him. Yeah. I'm very familiar with the roads there, very familiar with the area there. So okay, so first off, supermarket restaurants right at your doorstep. Yes, one supermarket, 22 restaurants. So I think food options that would be plenty. 3 minutes drive to the Robertson Key, so a lot of dining options there. That's true, and especially when you have your new Robertson development over there as well, right? Once it's up. Now 5 minutes drive to Tiong Bahru. Tiong Bahru, yes, is very convenient, and the Tiong Bahru market has a lot of good food as well. Speaking of food, you also have the Zion Riverside Food Center, right? This one has like the famous char kway teow, the Chinese what do you call that? The Chinese noodles and the xiaolongbao is very nice here. Not xiaolongbao, sorry. The Hong Yu Chao Shou, yeah, the spicy Sichuan dumplings, Hong Yu Chao Shou and Dan Dan Mian. If you ever get a chance to come into this food center, try that. Okay, Hong Yu Chao Shou plus Dan Dan Mian. This combination, these are the best two items from that store. And then there's a duck rice that is popular as well, but I feel like it's so-so. Okay, but I do like the char kway teow and this dan dan mian and the hong yu chao shou. That even the new cai fan here is not too bad, to be honest. Yeah, and there's also like a noodle store here that's nice as well, like bak chor mee kind of store. Forgot the name because it's been some time since I came here. Yeah, and other than Zion Riverside, because Zion Riverside you have 7 minutes walk, right? But in terms of driving, right, you have so many options here in Zyon Grand because it's even more well connected than Queenstown, right? You can go all the Henderson Market, Teluk Blangah markets, and in Teluk Blangah alone, I think there's 3 food centers. Yeah. Teluk Blangah alone, there's 3 food centers, and then you have Bukit Merah as well. Then the nearest one to you in terms of driving is the Havelock Food Center. The nasi lemak there is very nice. I recommend you try it out if you have not. It's so nice that they only sell in the morning and a bit of lunchtime. By the time if you go at 1:30 p.m., sometimes it's sold out already. Okay, that's how good it is. And then there's also another famous char kway teow there. Yeah, actually, Telok Blangah, there's another char kway teow that also has a bit of fame as well. I think it was the one with the one that Zemet did a video on. I think he eat like 20 plates of char kway teow or something. Yeah, nice. Okay, so obviously going to Orchard is very near. It's just one road straight down. It's Orchard Road already. I don't know why they put it as 8 minutes though. It's a lot shorter than 8 minutes actually. Yeah, it's a lot shorter than 8 minutes. Why did they put 8 minutes? It's like 2 minutes. Okay, I just FYI, I'm using the official brochure material from the developer. But yes, based on my understanding, it's about 2 minutes drive to Orchard Road. Because I use this road so frequently, I know. Mm. Oh, and 5 minutes walk to Alexandra Park Connector. Ah, okay. Yes, there about. I don't know which part it is. It's actually right behind the Zyon Riverside Food Center. Okay, so amenities wise, yes, you have different options, decent options. Now let's move on to talk about education. Education, again, I'm going to use the brochure material. So River Valley Primary School with 1 km. Zhanda and Alexandra, okay, Alexandra maybe with 1 km, probably 2. Zhanda is definitely 2. But Zhanda isn't like a famous school. Yeah, I know because I'm an alumni there. Yeah, it's only 100 plus. The rank is 100 plus, so don't bother. River Valley Primary School is decent. Like I've seen like ranking 19 and also like at least in the top 30. Yeah. Alexandra Primary School used to be good, but I think I heard a lot of feedback that ever since they changed the principal, it's been going downhill. I actually wanted to try Alexandra Primary School as well for my kid, but yeah, once I heard about all those new feedback, right, since the change of principal, yeah, I think if I do buy Zion Grand, it will be River Valley Primary School for my kid. Mm. Okay, and then secondary school you have your Sing, Crescent Girls, Outram, and then tertiary you have this, but this one's really that near. You still need quite a bit of driving distance. Okay, now let's talk about transport or connectivity. Transport, come on, it's 2 bus stops away to Orchard. It's very well connected. It's on the Thomson East Coast line. Okay, so that means that you can go to CBD, Shenton Way. You can go to Maxwell. You can go to Gardens by the Bay. You can go to Airport. You can go to Woodlands RTS. It's extremely well connected, much better than Queenstown. You think Queenstown is better? Zion Grand is better. Seriously, I mean, that's why that location is so coveted, right? Uh, and on top of that, Outram Park Interchange is now going to be at the SGH campus, and that is like an employment cluster as well, right? As per what I have in my radius. And obviously, you have Great World. In fact, I wouldn't recommend taking MRT to Great World. I would recommend walking from Zion Grand to Great World if you want to go Great World. Because the Havelock MRT station link that you are at, right? You actually need to walk a bit of distance to reach the actual MRT part. Then you take the MRT to Great World. You need to walk a bit of distance again to Great World City itself, the actual shopping mall. So you take these two walking distance add together, it's about the same as you walking outside directly to Great World. So just walk to Great World. If you're going Great World from Zyon Grand, you can just walk to Great World, and it's fully sheltered because prominently Peak will be building that sheltered pathway, and the sheltered pathway is along the road, the plot of land, the plot of land that the two projects are lying at. And in terms of the sheltered walkway from the across the river to directly to Great World City, Promenade Peak is going to build that. Well, obviously subject to government's approval. Lah. Yeah, but that's something that they already talked about when they were selling Promenade Peak itself, the developer All Green. Okay, yeah. So connectivity wise, it's really good, and you have your Marina Bay, MBFC as well, not just Shenton Way. So yes, extremely high connectivity. Your employment education classes all nearby. Okay, education classes not so much, but employment customers definitely. So your CBD, come on, right? You can take MRT to CBD in like 2 to 3 stops, maybe four. It's amazing. Yeah, and because like I said, I'm very familiar with this area, right? So people will say that the road is very noisy because yeah, it's two heavy roads, right? Heavily used roads, the Kimsey Road and Zion Road. But I actually think it's not that bad because based on my personal experience driving down these two roads, right? The main thing is that it's not a lot of heavy vehicles. Very seldom do you see heavy vehicles on this road because it's like the road lanes and it goes to and goes from Orchard. So it's I really very seldom seeing heavy vehicles there, even during like weekday daytimes where you expect more. So I think the noise level is actually manageable. It's okay. It's definitely better than if you stay in say Pasir Panjang right beside the West Coast Highway. I can tell you that is a lot worse because I know somebody who lives there. I've been there before. It's a lot worse. Okay, so these two roads, heavy usage yes, but no very seldom, very few heavy vehicles, which makes the noise a lot more manageable. Of course, if there are those motorbikes that purposely tweak their bikes to make the exhaust super noisy, the one you cannot help it. Okay, no matter where you are. If they are there, it's that noisy already. I also don't understand when those people grow out of that phase, but yeah, I think eventually they will do. Okay. Now let's talk about the next portion, which will be exit strategy. So that's the radius. Now we're going to talk about exit strategy. So other than radius and to be honest, project details, project forming part of your exit strategy, there's also the upgrader pool, which I will talk about now. So if you look at this map, right, this map with all the red little blocks there, the red squares here represent HDB units or blocks. So there's a lot of HDB here. You think that Havelock area or rather River Valley area doesn't have a lot of HDB, but actually there are, especially for Havelock because it's or even nearer to the HDB side. But to be fair, a lot of these HDB are old, so of quite a certain old age. Like for example, I know for a fact that the blocks here are older. Although there's actually a new one that's being constructed right here. This is also newer compared to this area here. So this estate is one of the oldest in Singapore. Why do I know? My grandmother lives here or used to live here. So this is a new HDB. If I'm not wrong, it's not under the Prime or Plus scheme. I might be wrong on that. Don't quote me on it. Okay, because in terms of the timing period, it's very close. So this is the Havelock Hill site is going to be one of your future upgraders. Yeah, and they will be able to get 1 million. It will be $1 million HPD because these are the new ones. And then on the Henderson side, the City View Henderson, that's one of the ones that also make headlines, right? For record high HDB price. I think it was like 1.5 or yeah, 1.5 million back then. Although the record did get broken by Queenstown eventually. Oh, but that brings me to the next point. Bukit Merah is actually okay. I will actually talk about this in the price section, but I'll just say a quick one. Bukit Merah is actually the long term wise is the high one with the highest number of $1 million transaction. And by Bukit Merah, it includes this Alexandra, Henderson, Havelock, Bukit Timah area or the Baru area. And oh, right, I forgot to mention this is also a fairly new HDB over here. The one that's right beside Tiong Bahru Plaza. Or the yeah, Tiong Bahru Plaza. Okay, so yes, there are upgraders here, even in the vicinity of Zion Grand, and I don't think it's a stretch to say that people who live in Queenstown would want to are potential HDB upgraders for Zion Grand as well, because I'm one of them. I mean, I live in Queenstown and I'm looking at Zion Grand. Makes sense, right? Yeah. Okay. So next one I'll talk about is supply demand. So supply demand, I mean the demand obviously comes from all your HDB upgraders here. So I don't think I need to say too much. And also outer area as well, like Queenstown or maybe even all the other Commonwealth. People who want to upgrade their location per se. Now, in terms of the supply, you do have a bit of a oversupply issue at TOP because there are five plots of land being released at the same time, right? Your River Valley Green A, B, C parcels. So River Green was A, and then you have your Promenade Peak, you have your Zion Grand, and you have your River Valley Green B, which has been awarded to Guaco Land, but it's also at a land cost at 137 137 or 1350 PSF PPR, about there about. So it is going to be helping your Zion Grand price support. Yeah, I'll talk that more about that in the price section. Okay. Now, the only thing is, like I said, a bit of oversupply issue because all five TOP at around the same time. So, what does this mean? It means that if for Zion Grand, if you hold for a longer term, where you don't need to rush with other people in terms of selling a project, you will have better long-term potential. In fact, I feel because it's so near to CCR, it will benefit from the CCR boost when it does happen. Because the CCR and RCR and OCR gap is really very, very close now. I think eventually government will introduce policies, and once the property prices are a bit more controlled, they will introduce policies to make the CCR price go up again. So long term, I think there is a potential there. But obviously, short term, no. Short term, if you're looking for a project to sell immediately after 4 years, once the project is ready for you to sell, right? From launch day 4 years later, right? Not even going to stay, right? Penrith is a better option. Penrith is a safer option for sure. Okay. Now, resale transaction velocity. I actually have difficulty trying to find projects that are a bit more relevant. I think the projects that are more relevant, I can't really take those old ones because those old ones are a very different era where the floor plan is so big. Even for two bedrooms, like 1,000 plus square feet. Seriously. So it's like a very different era. It's very, very hard to compare. But I think at least the Irving Hill Residences, the Martin Modern, and I guess Riviera, these three projects are the ones where you can see the resale transaction velocity. And it's actually honestly not too bad. You have like 20 plus each for the newer ones like Martin Modern and Irving Hill. But Irving Hill, because of the high price, it's not moving much. Likewise for Martin Modern. Martin Modern actually has a healthier performance. Okay, but anyway, when we talk about the resale performance, maybe I'll talk more about that then in terms of the price gap as well. And let's talk about future transformation next. It actually ties back to the five plots of land that I mentioned earlier. So future transformation wise, actually very straightforward. There's not much future transformation in this area. After all, River Valley and Bukit Merah is like a mature estate, right? But of the plots of land slated for new development here, we are the third one, being Zion Grand being the third one. You have River Green and Promenade Peak already sold. Zion Grand are coming. And there's also a new one, River Modern. That's actually the tentative name for the River Valley Green Parcel B, which is won by Guaco Land at 1,300 plus PSF PPR. So that's a good sign because Zion Grand is 1,202. And other than that, there's also a parcel C that's currently under tender. Okay? Yeah. No future transformation, but you do have two upcoming plots of land to help a bit with your exit strategy and price support. Although you can also say that it causes a bit more supply per se, oversupplying situation, at least at TOP. Yeah. All right. Let's move on. All right. So this is the price elevation chart I have done, same as the one as Penrith. And the yellow figures are the ones where it's provided by the developer. The orange figures are the ones that I have done based on estimation and extrapolation. I also have an upper bound and lower bound. So what you're seeing here is just the upper bound. There's still a lower bound one. Okay. Now, obviously, I've already populated the figures all the way up to level 62, and it's not just PSF, it's quantum as well per stack. Okay. And obviously, taking into consideration like the level 44 being bigger square feet, etc. And a different PSF as well, different starting PSF. So if you're interested in me, in letting me help you with you by using this price elevation chart, especially on launch date itself, to see how big is the deviation of the actual prices and to decide whether to go or to walk away, please contact me at this number. Okay, let me help you guys. Especially if you think that the rest of the video in terms of all my analysis is helpful to you, it's insightful to you. Come take the leap of faith and approach me. Okay, must take action. Okay. So next is upgrader price support. So just like Queenstown, Havelock is technically in the Bukit Merah area, and it's full of $1 million HDB as well. In fact, Bukit Merah has from 2023 to 2025 or now, Bukit Merah has the highest number of $1 million HDB transactions. Like they didn't have like the record in Singapore like Queenstown, but they actually have the highest number of $1 million transactions. So that should tell you something, right, in terms of your upgrader price support. And just a few of the headlines here, you have Bukit Merah 3 room flat hitting 860K, although the record is still Queenstown have been 925K. And 5 room flat in Bukit Merah sold for 1.588. So it's slightly lower than the Queenstown, which was like 1.7. And there was also another 5 room HDB flat in Tiong Bahru View, so for the record 1.588 million as well. And this Tiong Bahru View is the one that's in the one that I mentioned earlier that's beside the Tiong Bahru Plaza. And the other 1.58 is a different HDB. Okay, it's a different one. This one is in the Henderson area, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. So definitely upgrader price support is there because the upgraders here are all able to sell their HDB for $1 million or more, or almost $1 million, depending on the size. Right. Okay, so for the nearby resale performance, right, in the case of Zyon Grand, because they're so near to the River Valley and CCR projects, right, the resale performance, some of it are actually quite heavily impacted by the ABSD 60% tax on foreigners. So you can't really paint a good picture, or at least an accurate picture. I mean, I'm not trying to sugarcoat things. There are unprofitable transactions in multi-modern. There are. I'm not sugarcoating. There are. But it's also because when multi-modern was built, their prices did not factor in the impact of this 60% ABSD tax on foreigners. But for Zion Grand, it does. Not just Zion Grand, I mean Promenade Peak, River Green, or like Upper House or Robertson Opus. All of these have now priced that difference in. They have lowered their price in order to factor in that policy. So rather than talking about nearby resale performance, I think I want to talk about price gap because the price gap is really, 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 really good for Zion Grand. It's ridiculous. Okay, if you consider that Zion Grand is integrated development, almost close right at the edge of CCR, you compare it against the other projects that's near it, right, less than 1 kilometer away. The price gap is really something I have not seen because the new launch prices are lower than the resale prices. It's amazing. So let's look at the price gap. Okay. So if you look at the price gap here, right? Okay, the Zion Grand figures. Let me just say that these are all based on my own estimates. This is not the official figure. Okay, this is not the official launch day figure. It's just my estimates for reference. So I am going to look at 2 bedroom first and 3 bedroom. The 2 bedroom and 3 bedroom. So 2 bedroom for Zion Grand, right, as an average between the different kind of stats. Level 30 is about 3080 PSF, level 15 is about 2890 PSF. You compare that to Irwell Hill Residences. Irwell Hill Residences, the PSF is all 3K and above. You have your 3 level 33 is at 3.3K, and these are transacted, by the way. These are transacted. Okay, there is some figures that are slightly better, your 3023, 3053, but those are like level 18, level 22, which is still lower level than Zion Grand's level 30, which gave us 3080. Like if I were to compare the level 80 versus level 15, Zion Grand being a new launch is still selling lower than Well Hill because of that 60% ABSD thing. So it actually is a very good opportunistic time to enter and purchase CCR region. Food for thought. All right, and then you have multi-modern. Likewise, multi-modern okay, multi-modern's PSF is a lot better. But if you factor in the number of years, right, because multi-modern is older than the Well Hill, if you factor in the number of years per PSF, add together, Zion Grand is still cheaper. So you have a case of a Well Hill where I don't even need to add the number of years difference. Then you have multi-modern because which is older, right? So you add the number of years difference, right? It's still performing better. And multi-modern is the one that I mentioned, right? You remember the one with like unprofitable transactions. If I'm not wrong, there's like 11, and a Well Hill there's like one or two. But definitely the profitable is more than a lot more in terms of percentage versus the unprofitable. And the unprofitable ones are the ones that, they pretty much just they didn't buy during launch. They bought right before the ABSD 60% was introduced. Wow, I feel for them, man. It's painful. It's a very, very unfortunate situation. Mm. And then you have Riviera. Riviera, you also have the PSF here. If you add the number of years difference, I can assure you that it's still higher than Zion Grand. So Zion Grand has this very attractive price gap situation. And I have not even talked about its comparison versus a Promenade Peak and River Green. River Green has higher PSF, lower size, so the quantum is there, lower. Oh wait, you know what? Let me talk about those two new launches when I talk about the next section. Yeah, rather than this section. We'll talk about that in the next section. But for Zion Grand, right? Wow, I think the price gap is amazing. And this is two bedroom. So let's move on to talk about three bedroom next. Three bedroom prices are here. The estimated one, again, let me repeat, it's estimated prices, okay? This is just my own estimates. So level 15, 2916 PSF, level 30, 3107 PSF. You'll notice that it's slightly higher than the two bedroom average prices because of the two three bedroom premiums which commanded a higher premium for the price because of the fact that they have better views, the south facing views. Okay. Now, if you look at Irwell Hill residences, for Irwell Hill residences, the prices for their three bedroom is about 3K. Level 2 starting from 2966. So if I compare, say, the level 14, the first transaction, level 14 is 3.1K. Zion Grand Tribunal estimated is about 2916 at level 50. So again, it's the same situation where the Zion Grand new launch price was lower than the Irwell Hill resale price, even before factoring in the number of years difference. Although to be fair, Irwell Hill is at most 1 year plus. No, sorry, we should include the TOP day. We'll be comparing POP versus POP, so it will be 6 years difference as well. Now, as for Martin Modern is the same. You have 2995 and 2787. So 2787 is lower than the level 15. Level 15 2787 on Martin Modern is lower than level 15 2916 Zion Grand, right? But again, remember Martin Modern does have more years than a Well Hill. You add in the number of years of PSI for sure. Zion Grand is still cheaper. The price gap is still there. Then as for the Riviera, we have also a range of about 2.9K to 3K PSF, and these are all low for transactions. So it's comparable to Zion Grand, and in the number of years difference, again, you have a scenario where Zion Grand's entry prices are so much lower. Okay, and not just entry prices, right? I'm doing the level 15 and level 30, so we have like lower mid and mid floor prices as well, based on my estimates. So yes, I think this is a situation where we will see the Zion Grand price being we do see the Zion Grand price being very, very attractive. I'm so attracted by it, by the way. It, if you look at the next section where I talk about comparable launches, right, you'll see why I say that's so attractive. And it's not just the price, it's also the layout, the facilities, everything. All right. Anyway, let's move on to the next section. Okay, so let's talk about comparable new launches. So I'm going to compare Zion Grand versus Promenade Peak versus River Green. And we are going to first look at the price. I mean, obviously, we had a price section, right? I actually want to talk a bit about the layout also and some other factors that are pertaining to these three projects. So first off, right, if you look at this first big bold box, we have our one bedroom. Zion Grand only has one layout, Promenade has two. River Green, I'm not sure whether there's only three, but I do not want to put too many transactions, so too many different type of layout, but this is enough to give you an idea, right? So basically, River Green's PSF is always highest amongst all the different layout, all the different bedrooms. And how they keep their quantum low is by giving you a really, really small size. So that's the strategy they're going with. Um, I don't like it. I personally think like it's a quantum trap because yes, you do, and you spend a lower quantum to get to the River Valley area, but because your size is small, in future when you do get bad profits, right, your profits in terms of quantum absolute amount is also lower. So yeah, I wasn't a fan of River Green, but anyway, kudos to them. They achieved very great sales on day one. Now, in terms of promenade peak, this is the one that's interesting. Their PSF in some cases are higher than Zyon Grand, for example, in the two bedroom. Three bedroom comparable, some higher, some lower. Then for the one bedroom, they are lower. But their layout for Promenade Peak, right? They went the other way of River Green. Their layout are bigger. They are definitely bigger. So you have a very kind of different kind of situation here where River Green went for the other end of the spectrum where they kept their size small. Promenade Peak gave you big size with cheaper PSF. Zion Grand actually position themselves perfectly. They have small layouts, compact layouts. They also have the decent size layout. They also have the big layouts. At least in terms of like three bedroom premiums. You notice I didn't talk about four bedroom here. Okay, that's fine. I'm just going to talk about the one, two, three, just to give you an idea. I think that will give a better idea. So for the quantum, right? If you want to talk about quantum, Zion Grand's quantum is very acceptable as well. In some cases, it's even lower. For example, two bedroom, it's actually lower. Some of the smaller two bedroom is actually lower than River Green, and the three bedroom as well, comparable to River Greens, the compact, and the deluxe is actually cheaper than River Greens because of the lower PSF. But of course, to be fair, this is my projected figures. I may be wrong here, it may be higher than this. Okay, this is just my estimated figures. The figures in orange are my estimated figures. The figures in yellow are the actual one provided by developer. Okay, so what do I want to say here? What I want to say here is that in terms of price, Zion Grand holds a huge advantage over Promenade Peak and River Green. So number one, PSF is already better, much better than River Green. Okay, quantum size as well. So that quantum size alone makes a difference in terms of the absolute profit that you actually get. Now, in terms of Promenade Peak, prices are comparable, PSF, but layout is typically bigger on the Zion Grand side. So kind of same thing again in terms of like the absolute quantum profit. But there's one more thing about Promenade Peak. The layouts are horrible, especially the ones that are below level 43. Okay, their layouts below level 43 are horrible. So if you ask me, like, even though I think that River Green is a bit of a quantum trap, it is still better than Promenade Peak. Because remember, the resale performance analysis that I did for Penrith for Queenstown, the one project that performed the worst was the one with the worst layout. Even though it's nearer to MRT than some of the other projects, and that's Queen's Peak. So layout and facilities both are very important when you have few projects together, especially in the same era, same period, which will be these three, and the upcoming River Modern as well as the Parcel C, River Valley Green Parcel C. And that brings me to the next point, which is the future GLS. Okay, we'll talk about that in terms of the price as well. Yeah, one more thing I want to say is yes, the don't forget River Modern is 100 plus PSF, almost 200 PSF more than Zion Grand, the land price. Okay, so yes, I think the prices for Zion Grand is very, very attractive. Now, one more thing I forgot to say is right now we're just looking at these figures, right? But don't forget that Zion Grand is an integrated development. It usually comes with a premium or integrated, right? But there's no integrated premium here. If you look at it, because its PSF is comparable to Promenade Peak, which is just beside it, but they provide smaller sizes, or rather a range of sizes. And at least for the three bedroom in particular, Zion Grand offers much more alternatives in terms of smaller sizes. You have your compact, you have your deluxe. or standard and deluxe. Whereas Promenade Peak's 3 bedroom is simply the same as Zyon Grand's 3 bedroom premium. Okay, so very important. You are paying for integrated development without the integrated development premium. This is awesome. I gotta be honest with you guys, right? I'm leaning heavily towards Zyon Grand instead of Penrith. All right, let's look at the future GLS next. So again, future GLS, I'm going to show the three that I showed previously for Penrith, which is the Trunk Grove site, the Bayshore site, and the CDL Lakeside site. So the Lakeside one, as an extreme fast OCR, right, it also achieved a 1132 PSF PPR. Then the other two, the Trunk Grove and the Bayshore, are the ones that are really exaggerated. It's almost 4,000, 1376, 138. And here's the thing. River Modern, which is the Guaco Land, the one that Guaco Land won the bid for, the River Valley Green Parcel B, it's 1420 PSF PPRB. So I was wrong in the previous session. I thought it was 100 plus. It's actually 216 PSF PPR more than Zyon Grand. And mind you, both of these plots of land are integrated development with the level 1 mixed commercial. Okay, so it's the same for the Guaco Land. It's also level 1 mixed commercial, but it's 220 PSF PPR more. So yes, in terms of future GLS, not to worry. The future GLS will help you, will give you the price support that you need. Okay, for sure. All right, let's move on to the final scoring. Before we talk about the final score, just one quick one on why not Zyon Grand. So first one, obviously there's no super popular schools here. I mean, there's a River Valley Primary School, but it's not at the level of like Henry Park or ITOM or ACS, MGS. But it's not too bad if you ask me. I mean, on one side it was like ranked 19, another side was within the top 30. So I think it's okay. Yeah, I think it's popular enough. And as for the second point, which is a potential noise concern because it's flanked by two busy roads, the Kinsey Road and the Zyon Road. I actually frequently use these two roads myself. So I can tell you, I don't think it's that bad, at least based on my experience where I'm there, because there are not a lot of heavy vehicles on these two roads. The heavy vehicles will have gone the other direction to CT SLE instead. So, but based on my personal experience, at least the amount of time that I've been there, I've actually noticed the road being noisy. Unless you get those motorcycles, then that one cannot be helped. Those motorcycles who purposely tweak their motor, the exhaust sound to be like super loud, that you will be affected everywhere they go lah. Okay, but at the very least, I can say that it's definitely much better than say West Coast Highway, because West Coast Highway has so many heavy vehicles. It's crazy noisy there. I know because I actually been to a residence over there, and yeah, that's the one that is actual noise concern. Okay. Now, third point, oversupply at TOP. Yes, this is unfortunate, but it is a situation that's happening because of the timing that our government has released all the different land plots. So, Promenade Peak, River Green, Zyon Grand, River Modern. Now, River Modern is a tentative name for Parcel B, the River Valley Green Parcel B. There's also Parcel C, but Parcel C is still under tender. So it will not be exactly at the same period, but it will be slightly after. So it does affect, it may still affect later. That's why I just list it. But yes, at the point of TOP, if you're looking to flip and immediately sell, you would have a bit of an oversupply issue. You might need to lower your price to sell fast, things like that. Obviously, if you're holding it for longer term, maybe own stay or for some reason you want to do rental, right? Then this is not an issue. Number three will not be an issue then. Okay. Now, number four, District 3, not District 9. True, but it is actually right outside of District 9. And if you look at what we are doing, right, when we compare resale performance, we also have to take projects that are from District 9 because District 3, I don't have any other projects that are nearer. The District 9 projects are nearer to Zyon Grand. Okay. So, and then the other point is that nobody asks you which district you stay, right? They will ask you which area, not which district. Likewise, when you talk about food, where is there good food to eat? You wouldn't use district as well. You would talk about area too. So yes, I don't think this is too big of a concern. If you don't tell people, I don't think people know that river was the dividing line between District 3 and District 9. Okay. Last one, higher maintenance fees. Yes, this is unfortunate. It is 536 for most of the units before 4 bedroom. which makes it more expensive than other projects that are now priced around like 420 to 475, 464. I've seen varying figures. Lowest I've seen was like 390 Sky Holland. So yes, it's unfortunate that we have higher maintenance fee here, but I don't know whether there's a possibility of the maintenance fee eventually dropping after 1 year if the residents do vote to drop the concierge service. Because I suspect that's one of the reasons why the maintenance fee is high as well. But yeah, anyway, that's my speculation. I can't say for sure. Because I also have not heard of maintenance fee going down. Most of the time it's going up. Okay, so yes, this is a higher maintenance fee that you have to accept if you're going to go for Zion Grant. So that's why I put it as why not Zion Grant, because it may be a reason for people to turn away. But at the very least, it's not like exorbitantly ridiculous kind of price, Like I shouldn't need a project, but there's one project that back then, a couple of years ago, also 3 years ago, they were selling they were charging the maintenance fee at 900. Ridiculous, right? Okay, so we are now at the final score. Project details 9. I think that should be quite self-explanatory, right? Given everything that I've gone through about the project. I mean, the views are there. There's some of the blocks, not all the blocks. Yeah, some of the stats. There are some with good views, MBS view, Sentosa view. You have your afternoon sun being very indirect. Facilities are good, arrival court especially. Then the floor plans are efficient as well, and furnishing facilities nothing to complain about at all compared to Penrith. Okay, one thing to complain is maintenance cost. Yeah, that's why it's 9. And radius, I have to say, it's better than Penrith. You have walking distance to a good shopping mall like Great World City. In fact, I think Penrith walking to that Q mall that is still not confirmed yet is slightly further than Zion Grand walking to Great World City. About the same. Yeah, actually about the same. Okay, but one is a confirmed mall with many good different type of stores there already, shops there already. Well, there's the other one. I don't know when it will happen. I've seen the news. I've been waiting since 2019 or 2020, So yeah. And yes, that's why radius is 9. And as for exit strategy, obviously I have to lower it because of the resale transaction velocity. And I mean, mainly it's because of the whole 60% ABSD impact for foreigners that actually do impact the CCR transactions. Now, technically speaking, like I said earlier, Zion Grand is right outside of CCR, but for all intents and purposes, if you want to take projects that are nearer to Zion Grand to compare, right? They are the ones in the CCR. So yes, there is the impact there. Okay. But upgraded pool is actually not that bad because Zion Grand being at Havelock Road, right? It's actually the nearest to all the different HDBs. There's one HDB that's diagonally opposite the Zion Grand show flat. That HDB actually is the one that was in the news recently. So for 800 plus K, yeah, it's one of the ones that I shared earlier. Okay, it's actually right opposite the Zion Grand show flat. Okay, now price. Price, I actually struggled quite a fair bit with this rating for the price. I was deciding or flip flopping to between 9 and 8.5. 8.5 will be because of the fact that we don't have a good nearby resale performance to show, right? Because of the whole 60% ABS impact. But at the same time, the price gap for the versus the new resale, right? It's so tremendous that it kind of, I don't know, I feel like it mostly negates it out. And on top of that, Zion Grand is an integrated development and you don't have to pay the premium for the integrated development because like if you look at the River Green and Promenade Peak, it's actually the same type of PSF, or even cheaper in the case of versus River Green. So yeah, this is why the reason why I put this as 9. I was really trying to decide very hard between 8.5 and 9. So overall is 8.4. So slightly ahead of Penrith, more or less the same. Now, you might say that I'm being biased. You might think that I may be a little biased here, but I'm not. The reason why I'm giving a slightly higher points for Zion Grand is that I think a lot of people are not appreciating the fact that it's actually an integrated development. And yes, it's only level 1 commercial, but it's managed by CDL. Because CDL is going to manage the SA two, right? So it's going to be managed by CDL. So yeah, I think that plays in favor of it. Of course, the SA2 component we can say that it's an untested one because it's the first SA2. But if you look at SA1, the history, right? SA1 prices are typically higher. It does attract the aspects of whoever are staying in SA1s to actually look at Zion Grand itself. And because your rental is higher for the SA, having the lower rental for Zion Grand is even more appealing, right? So yes, that's the angle that I'm looking at. So, but I'll say this though. To be fair, I'll say this though. If you want to flip after 4 years, our SSD is up. Penrith is better. If you want homestay, own stay, Zion Grand is better. Mm. That would be my conclusion between these two. All right, let's move on to the outro. Or actually, maybe we can consider this as the outro. Yeah. Okay. So if that's the case, remember to contact me at this number. Yeah. If you find that my analysis and my insight so far has been good for you, I assure you that I'll be applying the same level of detail and analysis for your purchase as well. Okay. So make sure that you do a smart choice home purchase. All right. Thanks everyone for watching. Bye. All right. Remember to like and subscribe as well, especially if you find the video helpful. Okay. Bye.